Good morning, everybody. This is part 3 of our virtual robotics week. Part 1 was dealing with discussion with the terminal, and part 2 was what you did yesterday, where we had to do some ciphering and some encrypting of the information. Today, we'll be moving on to part 3, and part 3 is going to be radio basics. Now, we've done some programming with radio in the past when we had different microbits send messages to me and back and forth. It was very confusing because everybody was sending messages all at the same time, and it was very difficult to try to get everybody's messages to cooperate. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to kind of be learning how to make direct messages rather than random messages go everywhere. Okay, so um, and this lesson utilizes the built-in Bluetooth to transmit messages from one microbit to another wirelessly. So while we are saying radio, what actually is happening is the microbit is using Bluetooth. The MicroPython command to send and receive radio messages in the radio command. Okay, and we're going to do all of this inside of the terminal. Looks like somebody's a mighty Python fan. All right, so before you start, make sure you have your Chromebook, which I assume you already do, your microbit, and your wire. I would also like for you to kind of team up with somebody. I would like for that person to be the person at your table. I don't want you moving around a lot in the room. Stay where you're supposed to be. Do your work at that group. Okay, so you're going to kind of team up with the person on the other side of you. So you might have to slow down or speed up in order to stay on pace with that person, where that person's at, because we're going to require 2 microbits in order to talk to each other. I don't want you to have 2 microbits. You only need 1. You're going to partner up with another person. Okay, but I still want both people to do both programs. Okay, and remember, we can duplicate slides, which we'll talk about in a second. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to write MicroPython scripts that make microbit modules send and receive messages. The microbit module is your microbit. With their built-in radios, your scripts will also be able to change channels to access different data streams. This is when I was talking about being more specific. You don't hear, when you turn on the radio, you don't hear every single radio station at the same time. You only hear the radio station that you're set to. And that's why we are going to work on setting radio stations, okay? So the radio is located on the main microcontroller, which is your microbit. So if you flip it over to the back, you might have to tilt it. I have to tilt mine in order to get the light to hit it just right to see that little up and down squared line, and that's going to be your antenna. The radio's frequency is 2.4 gigahertz or 2.4 billion times per second, so it sends out 2.4 billion bits of information per second, or digital information per second. The radio can communicate with another up to 230 feet away. Now, that also depends on the batteries. If your batteries are starting to go low, your microbit will not be able to communicate with the same the longest distance. You'd have to have really good batteries to make sure you go the full distance. The data is not encrypted, but we can encrypt the data. We've talked about that recently. And there are 84 channels, 0 to 83. So when we dealt with the microbit last year, you can have anywhere from 0 all the way up to 250, I believe, on the actual make code microbit. However, this microbit can really only handle 0 to 83 in Python. So we're going to start off. We're going to send our first radio message. So if you haven't already done so, you need to make sure that you're in Python for Microbit. And just a reminder, everything after the pound sign is just a note. You can leave it. You can leave it as it is. You can completely delete it. I like to add what this program is. And I'm going to say, okay, this is test radio send. Okay. From microbit is the language that our microbit is speaking. We're going to make sure that they're speaking the same language. By doing this, we did do that. I'm going to go to line 4. And in line 4, I'm going to make sure that I import radio. So I'm taking my Python program and I'm having it import all of the information about radio. because your Python just doesn't hold everything in its head all at once. It needs, okay, oh, you want to talk about radio? Okay, I'm going to focus on my radio knowledge so you don't overwhelm the program. It allows you to do larger programs using less memory space. Okay, now we've imported the radio. I'm on line 6. I'm going to turn my radio dot on. A radio won't work unless I tell it to turn on. Okay. On line 7, I'm going to say, okay, radio dot config. So I'm telling it to configure my radio signal, and I want it to go to channel, let's do 7. I don't know why. Let's do 7. So we have now turned our radio, we've imported the information from our Microbit Python about radio. We've turned our radio on, and we've set our radio station to 7. Okay, so now we can get to our program. So I'm going to delete this underneath the wild true that was already there. And I said, okay, I want the radio dot send. So what do I want it to send? I want it to send testing 1, 2, 3 ... Boom. Now this is digital information. It's not analog information, which means our bodies won't be able to actually understand that this message worked. So I'm going to do, okay, well, I want to know, so I'm going to tell it to print message sent, and then I want it to sleep 2000. Okay, so what that's going to do is it's going to send the message, print on your screen that it sent the message, and then wait 2 seconds or 2000 milliseconds, and then send the message again. Okay, so I am going to connect my Microbit. I'm going to download this. Now, nothing appears on my Microbit because I told it to print, which means I have to go to my terminal in order to witness this. And 2. I'm going to reset it. Message sent. I'm zoomed in right now. Apparently, I put message send rather than message sent. But if anybody around me was set to channel 7, they're all of a sudden getting testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. Now, we need to now set up our Microbit in order to receive that message, okay? So, yep. All right. So we are going to be receiving our message. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close out my serial. So I'm looking back at my program now. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Thank you. Okay. I am going to right-click right here. I'm going to duplicate this. And so now I have a new page because I'll pretty much, I just need be able to send it and receive it. So like I said, I want everybody doing everything. I don't want you saying, I'm going to do the send ones, you do the received ones. No, I want everybody to do every single program. So this is going to be test radio receive. Okay. So first of all, we need to import radio. We need to radio dot on, and we need to radio dot config. So we're going to set our radio to channel equals 7. Okay. Now, if we set it to 8, it's not going to receive any messages. It's not, because we're only sending messages on the 7th wavelength. So it needs to, if it was on a wavelength of 8, then we would set it to 8. Okay. All right. While true, I'm going to delete that part there, and I'm going to say, okay, I want it to message. So I'm creating a variable. The word message is going to be whatever the radio receives, crab face. Now make sure you're spelling receive correctly. The I comes after the E, not before. If message is not none. Okay. Is not none, that means if there is something, it's a double negative. So if the message is there, what do I want it to do? Well, I want it to print whatever the message is, if I could spell it correctly. Okay. So turned my import the information from the radio. I turned my radio on. I configured it to radio station 7, and now I've set it to receive the message. And if message is not none, or if I receive a message, it should print that message. So I'm going to make sure that my microbit is connected. Denied. It's being cranky. Okay. See if it likes me now. How do you like me now? Okay. Flash. Open serial. Okay, something is wrong. I'm getting a line error. Line 9. Oh, my bad. None should be a capital N. Simple mistake. And again, if I'm going too fast, remember that you can pause the video, rewind it, do what you need to do. Let's download it. Okay, nothing's appearing on my screen and nothing's appearing on my terminal. Now, the reason nothing's appearing on my terminal is because I only have one microbit, so I can't send a signal to myself and then re-download another program and receive it. It has to be immediate. Okay, so this is where your partner comes in. I want one partner to download the radio receive signal, and then the other partner to download the radio send. And then basically what should happen is on the send person in their terminal, it should say radio sent. Let me fix that because that was radio sent, 2 seconds, radio sent, 2 seconds, radio sent, 2 seconds. And then inside the terminal of this person, it should say testing 1, 2, 3. Then 2 seconds. Testing 1, 2, 3. 2 seconds. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I want you to pause the video. I want y'all to decide who's going to be the sent person, who's going to be the receive person, and y'all can do it one way and then switch and do it the other way so that y'all can both receive messages. So go ahead and pause the video and do that, please. Okay. I'm assuming you did what I asked, and I'm assuming you paused the video and tested out the radio send and the radio receive, because you will not have access to these videos in practice when you have the test. So how sending radio messages work? It imports the information from the library. That's what I said. Then it turns the radio on, sets the radio to channel 7, sends this message, prints in the terminal that this message was sent. And then, okay, your other microbit's doing the exact same thing. Imports the information from radio, turns the radio on, sets it to channel 7, receives a message, only executes the if statement if there is a message, and prints the received message in the terminal. Okay. So now we are going to change our channels. Okay. So I'm going to keep these two programs. I'm going to right click, click duplicate. So I'm in here again. I'm going to unplug this, plug it back in. Okay. So I'm going to go underneath while true. I'm going to delete all of this. I'm going to go into after my asterisk, and this is going to be changing stations radio. Okay. So same thing that we've done before. We're going to import radio. We're going to turn radio dot on. And we're not going to set the radio station first. Instead, we're going to set radio dot configure underneath the while true statement this time. Channel equals 7. Radio dot send, open parentheses, quotation marks, hello from channel 7. You probably hear some dogs in the background. I'm taking care of a couple of dogs while I'm at home, and they like to play first thing in the morning. Okay, so hello from channel 7, and then I want it to sleep for 1 second or 1,000 milliseconds, and then radio dot configure. So I'm changing the radio station to 14. Radio dot send hello from channel 14. And then I get, of course, I want to sleep. Why are you doing emojis? Okay. Sleep for 1 second or 1,000 milliseconds. And then I want it to print quotation marks messages sent. Okay. Okay. So this is what we just did. So if I download this program into our Microbit, so I'm going to connect it. Flash it. And open my serial. And here we go. There we go. Took a second for it to kind of catch its memory up, but whoever is set on channel 7 will get a message, and then whoever set to channel 14 will get a message. Okay. So, of course, we're only sending those messages. We are not receiving those messages. So, what your partner can do, and y'all can switch back and forth, is you can start by keeping it on channel 7. So you'll get hello from channel 7, and then it'll be quiet for probably about 2-3 seconds, and then you'll get hello from channel 7 again. And then you can change it to channel 14 and then do the exact same thing, and then you'll start getting hello from channel 14. Hello from channel 14 about every 3 seconds. Whew. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope so. Remember, if you have any questions, just add it as a private comment inside the Google Classroom. I'll be able to respond pretty quickly. Okay, so let's go back to the PowerPoint. Now we want to receive from both channels, because right now we're only receiving from one channel. We're just receiving from 7. If you want to receive from 14, you have to change back your initial program. So we want to be able to receive a message that we actually receive from channel 7 and channel 14 at the same time. So basically we can listen to 2 people at the same time. So look, I am going to keep all 3 of these programs, right click, duplicate. So I'm now looking at a brand new program, but I still have all my other programs up there at the top. And this one will be called radio receive from multiple stations. Okay. Starts off exactly the same. Import radio dot on crab face. Channel equals 7, or CH equals 7. And then radio dot config channel equals CH. Okay. And now I'm dealing with the while true statement. I'm going too fast, pause the video and catch up. So message equals radio dot receive. If message is not none, print message. Okay. Forgot to make none a capital N. Okay, so right now we have our radio set to channel 7. Okay. And what we're going to have our microbit do is we're now going to have it go really, really, really fast between channel 7 and channel 14. We're only going to have it set it every millisecond. It's going to switch from channel 7 to channel 14, channel 7 to channel 14, channel 7 to channel 14, every millisecond. How we do that, okay, but if it's on a channel and it receives a message, it's going to display that message. So we're going to do if you're set to channel 7, there you go. If you're set to channel 7, I want it to set it to channel 14. Okay? And if you're set to channel, actually there should only be one there. If you're set to channel 14, I want you to set it to channel 7. So basically what it's going to do, it's going to go back, back, back and forth, 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 just over and over and over again. Oops. That's supposed to be Elif. My bad. I'm sure Orion's rolling his eyes right now. Radio dot config channel equals ch. Okay, so like I said, initially we are going to start off on channel 7. We've made our channel a variable, and then we set our radio to whatever ch is. Okay. And then we say, okay, if you receive a message, display it. And then we're going to go, is there something on channel 7? Is there something on channel 14? 7, 14, 7, 14. But it's going to do it about every millisecond. It's going to switch in between. So I'm going to connect. I'm going to flash it. We're going to see if there's a line error. No, there's not. Now, of course, I open my serial. Nothing's in my serial because I am receiving messages, okay? I am only receiving messages. I only have one microbit. Now, you and your partner, you can set one person, close, there we go. You can set one person to send this, and then the other person to be receiving, and you can go back and forth. So one person does the send, the other person does the receive to make sure both programs work, and then you switch and do the one does the send, one does the receive to make sure both programs work. Okay. Moving on. So now we're going to be able to send messages. Instead of sending just hello or pre-programmed messages, what we're going to do is we're basically going to start texting each other. We're going to do one directional text. So I'm going to again duplicate this right here. Make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be. Yes. Okay. So we're going to do import text. And we're going to start this off the same way. Import radio dot on. And we're still going to stick with radio station 7. Okay. Sleep 1 second. Okay. I'm going to go underneath the while true. I'm going to delete all of this underneath the while true. I'm going to say, okay, message is equal to whatever you input after the word send. Okay, and then I want it to radio dot send whatever message you typed in. Okay, so I'm going to connect my microbit. Oops, I got to disconnect it from here. Connect microbit. Boom, there we go. I'm going to flash it. Wonderful, I don't have a line error. But if I go to my terminal, it's ready for me to send a message. So I can type, hello, Kevin, stop playing with Beyblades. Okay, and if I hit enter, it just sent that message. Okay, so now we need to set our microbits in order to receive that message. Because right now, let me exit out of this one. Right now, we are only sending a message, and I can send it over and over and over again, but your message is not, your microbit's not ready to receive that kind of string of message. In fact, once it receives the signal, it's probably just going to display something. So we need it. Yeah, fun. Okay, so actually this should work. If you go back to this one right here, which is our second Python program, I can change that to channel 7. Just checking my program. Yeah. So we don't have to set it as a string because it's doing it inside the terminal. It'll just print whatever you have. So now, close serial. So you can have one team member run this program where you're able to send the messages. Okay. And then you should have your other team member receiving the messages. And so you should be able to type in something, hit enter, and it sends it like a text message. And then go back, and then you can switch roles. Okay. So this is a one direction. So send hello friend. The other microbit gets hello friend. Then this microbit, how are things? How are things? What time is it? What time is it? Where are you? Where are you? The problem is it is one direction. Okay. Now, when we deal with texting or we deal with anything else with emails and messaging like that, it's not one direction. You can respond. Okay. So we want bi-directional text. Bi means two or more than one. So we're going to go over here. I'm going to disconnect this microbit. I'm going to right click, click duplicate. And so now I am ready to receive more than one message. Okay. So highlight this, bi-directional text send. And we're going to start this off the same way. We're going to import dot radio. Oh, no dot. Radio dot on crab face. Radio dot config channel equal 7. Sleep 1000. Okay. So now I'm looking at underneath the while true statement. If UART dot any. So basically, if you're receiving a message, you need to be able to respond. Okay, colon tx is equal to input send radio dot send tx. Okay, so I just set tx as a variable. The text, I set text as my variable equals input. So whatever I send right there, then it will send that to the other person. Okay, now I'm going to make another one. Message equals radio dot receive. If message is not none with a capital N, print receive oops, quotation marks, RECEIVE. Okay. So now how this program will work is that both you and your partner can download the exact same program. I can flash it. Let's see if we have any line errors. Yay, no line errors. So now if I go to my serial, that was my fault. I pushed a button. I should not push buttons. Right, Cody? All right. My computer's a little slow this morning. Come on. See, it's right there. Oh, I'm getting a line error. Okay. How am I getting a line error? Okay. Wait for it. Line 10. Okay, line 10. I know where my issue is. Let's see. Line 10. What did we mix up? Sorry, I'm looking at the program trying to figure out what we messed up. Of course, it's just like if I was in class. Import radio, radio.on, radio configure, channel equals 7, sleep 1000, while true. If UART.any crab face colon TX equal to input, send the text, radio.send that text, message equals radio receive. Wouldn't be robotics if everything just didn't go crazy. Am I right? I'm right. I know I am. Open serial does not appear. If I reset the serial, it says, okay. Let's see what else we got. All right. So what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to be able to send hello. The other person gets hello. The other person can send, hey, how are you? And go back and forth. And the messages should line up in the terminal. So UART.any open parentheses. Now, it might be mad because I don't have another channel it's connecting to, which is why it might be giving us that issue. Waits for something other than 0. Once something has been typed, the send prompt will appear. Okay. All right, let's go see. Ah, there we go. I had to wait till I typed something. There we go. Let's see. Hello, Gabe. Okay, so I just sent hello, Gabe. However, yeah. No one got anything because I only have one microbit. So let's go back here. This is where I want to go. So once you start typing something, the send prompt will appear. First, if statement controls the sending of the message, the second statement controls the receiving of the message. If there are two different statements, so you're able to text back and forth. So if one person in the back of the room can tell a person in the front of the room, hey, set your radio station to channel 15, and then now you can start texting back and forth. Now, this happens on a much larger scale with your cell phones. So your cell phone is your radio station number is your cell phone number. Okay. It begins with a 1, most likely then a 318, and then whatever the rest of your digits are. If you go to England, the numbers are a lot different over there. And then what happens is instead of just Bluetooth connecting, it's sending it to satellites and responding that all down. Now, here's what I want you to turn in for today's lesson. I want you to turn in this program, the initial test radio send program that we did. I want you to turn in a picture of this program, the test radio receive, the very second program we did. Then I want you to turn in this one where you're sending it to do 2 different channels. Okay. Then I want you to turn in this one where you're receiving from 2 different channels. And then this one where you're able to send a one-way text. And then finally, this program right here, we're able to send and receive text, which means when I look at your assignment for Google Classroom today, I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 programs turned in. Okay, and just a screenshot of those programs. Again, if you don't remember how to do screenshots, there is the resource inside Google Classroom. So I wish you all the luck. Please feel free to rewind the video, go back and do what you need to do. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask those questions within Google Classroom. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze.